Quick question. Sir, I want to apply for my PG work permit file right now and my spouse extension after getting my PG work permit approval. I don't have a full-time job now on tier 0 or 1 level, and given the Canadian job market, I am not sure about it. My and my wife's visas are expiring in July 2025. Please guide me what to do. This is a really common scenario for most of the people who are in Canada right now, and they are completing their study now in April 2025. And everyone is asking the same question from me in all the counselings related to PGWP and SOWP. So in this particular video, I am going to clear this doubt to you, why you should apply for your spouse open work permit application along with PG work permit application right now. Even though you don't have a job, don't worry about it, why you should proceed for it. Spouse open work permit can have two categories right now. One category is spouse is outside Canada and inside Canada. If the spouse is outside Canada, it is going to be a fresh application like you apply from outside. So this is one. Second, if the spouse is inside Canada, then it is going to be SOWP extension. Rules are same in both the scenarios. Along with PG work permit, you can apply for SOWP extension if the spouse is inside Canada, or you can apply for a fresh file outside Canada as well. So both the scenarios are possible. So if you haven't got the spouse visa of the spouse, in that case you can apply from outside as well along with PGWP application. If the spouse is inside, then also you can apply for extension. Both the scenarios are fine. So it is quite clear that you can apply for SOWP along with PG work permit. So this is one scenario. Most of the PGWP applicants are aware that they can apply for SOWP extension along with PGWP, but many are not aware that even if your spouse is outside Canada, still you can apply for spouse open work permit. We have done it for many cases earlier as well, and we can do it now as well in April 2025. It's not a problem. So let's discuss about the major concern why people don't want to apply for SOWP along with PGWP. The concern is related to full-time job which is not available. So PG work permit applicant, primary applicant, require a full-time job to apply for SOWP of the spouse. So that is the requirement, and job can be on tier 0 level, which is usually assistant manager or manager job. Tier 0 level, tier 1 level, supervisors can also come on this level, or it can be on tier 2 or 3 level, but in specific job profiles. And you may not be even having a full-time job right now. Leave these categories, tier 0, 1, which are on higher level jobs, 2 or 3 specific job profiles which are in high demand in Canada. You may not be having even a full-time job. Leave these tier categories. So right now people are skeptical that we don't have a full-time job, and it is going to lead to a refusal of spouse open work permit, and we are going to apply for spouse open work permit later on after getting a full-time job. But there is one issue in this particular thing, that if you are going to apply for spouse open work permit after getting your PG work permit, then by the time you are going to get your PG work permit, current spouse visa of the spouse is going to be expired. So let's take a scenario. Let's take this particular question. For example, spouse open work permit, current spouse, we are considering that spouse is already in Canada. Spouse open work permit of your spouse is expiring in August 30, 2025. So this is the time your spouse is having right now. Now we are in April 25, and now you are applying for your PGWP application, and your PGWP is going to get result possibly after 6 to 7 months, which is the current timeline. So you will get your result maybe in September, October, November, any time. So we have still applications pending to get the result for whom we applied last year in October. 7 months are already gone, and this is the only application. PGWP is the only application. If you are getting a delayed result, it is good for you because you are getting extra time in your PG work permit. So if you are going to get result after 8 months and you are going to get 3 years of PG work permit, it means 36 months. So total time period on work permit is going to extend by 8 months, which is your processing time. So this is the only application. If it is getting delayed in result, it is giving you benefit. This is the only application. You should not be worried about getting the result quickly. Don't worry about it. And many people ask me, bit irrelevant to the topic, but many people ask me, my automatic work authorization letter is expiring. Should I keep working after that? Yes, you can keep working after that as well. And we can submit a web form and ask for one more work authorization letter. It's not a problem. But even if it is expired, you can keep working because you are still on implied status. So until unless you get the result of PG work permit, you are on implied status and you can keep working. Even if it is going to take 10 years of time to get the result of PG work permit, still you will stay on implied status and you can keep working. So even if your work authorization letter, which is usually WPEXT, this is the name of the file which you are going to receive in your GC key. Even if it expires, even if the expiry date is there, it's gone, still it's not a problem. And even if you don't get a result within 6 months, it's fine. It happens with many and it's not a problem for you. You can keep working even after the expiry of this letter. It's not a problem. And we can ask for one more letter if you require, if your employer is asking for it. So don't worry about it. So even if it is taking 8 months of time, 7 months of time, this is the current timeline. And many people find that their automatic work authorization letter is expiring soon. And even if it is expired, it's not a problem. Don't worry about it. So it is going to take 6 to 8 months of time to get your result. And by that time, you will get your PGWP approval. By that time, spouse open work permit of the spouse, current spouse open work permit of the spouse is going to be expired. So how you are going to apply for spouse visa for your spouse, SOWP extension of your spouse in October, November. By that time, spouse visa is going to be expired. So your spouse is going to be out of status. Then what you are going to do in this scenario? So let me tell you what people do in this scenario. What they do, suppose we are here in September 25. They get a job or not, they submit the file for SOWP extension of their spouse in September 2025, because after that they know that it is going to be expired. This is the expiry date and spouse will go out of status. So they have to submit extension file before September 2025. Suppose it is 30th September or whatever the date is. If it is August, then it is going to be August. So whatever the expiry date mentioned on the previous spouse visa, spouse permit, spouse open work permit, we have to submit file before that. And whenever we are going to submit this extension file, that time there is problem. What is the problem? Problem is you have applied for PGWP, but it is not approved yet. You are on implied status of PGWP, and based on that, spouse visa cannot be applied. SOWP extension or SOWP cannot be applied. So what you need to do in that scenario? And GCK does not allow it. So your first application for PGWP is applied in April 2025. This is your first PGWP application. Why I am saying it first? Because whenever you will try to submit second this SOWP extension before getting your approval, which you are not going to get in next 4-5 months, what you need to do? You need to submit your second PGWP application as well. You need to submit this. Along with that, we will submit SOWP extension application. So that's how it is going to submit. And many people ask that, do we require to withdraw the previous application? No, you can't withdraw the previous application. So you will have one previous application running, which is in April. Second application will be in August or September, before the expiry of spouse visa of your spouse. Before that, we will submit one more application, and we just want to submit this SOWP extension. This is what we want to do, but because system does not allow it, we need to submit second PGWP application as well to make the base for spouse visa application, SOWP extension application. So there will be one dummy. Why I am calling it dummy? We need to submit everything with this application as well. All the documents, immigration form, everything will be submitted, but it is going to be a dummy application because your first application is already running. It's already in process. And second application is also there. It automatically becomes a dummy application. We don't want this second application to be processed. We want our first application to be processed. And 99.9% cases, this first application is going to be processed first because it was submitted in April and second application is submitted in August. So definitely this application will be processed later on. That is what we want. Then what we do? In this particular scenario, there is one loss. The loss is of you need to submit another file of PGWP and you need to pay $255 extra in this scenario. So that is one loss you need to incur. That is one thing. Second thing, as soon as you get the approval of your PG work permit application, first PGWP application which you are submitting right now, we need to submit this approval to your second application, and we need to say to visa officer, dear officer, we applied for 2 PGWP files, and second file was just to create the base for SOWP extension application, and I don't want to process my second application now because I have already got my PG work permit approval. Please accept and attach this approval with the application and just process SOWP extension application of my husband or wife now. That's it. Do not process my second PGWP application. This is what we need to do. So we need to submit the approval of first application to the second application so that the second application do not get processed, or visa officer do not withdraw this second application automatically after processing our first application. So that is also a risk involved in that. So one risk is you need to pay extra. It's not a risk, it's a kind of charge on you. So you need to pay extra for second application as well, for PGWP second file. And then we need to ask visa officer not to withdraw application because there is an important application of my husband or wife running, so that if visa officer withdraws this application of PGWP, which is kind of a dummy application, which is my second application, to withdraw this application, visa officer should not withdraw SOWP file as well. There is a risk involved in this particular scenario. So we don't want to be in this particular scenario where visa officer unknowingly or maybe knowingly withdraw your entire application because there were 2 PGWP applications running at the same time. So there is a risk involved in that. There is extra cost involved in this process as well. So why to do this type of things? This is kind of a trick we are playing in the system, where we submit the second application as well, and we mention that already we have submitted our PGWP application. This is the proof of that application submission, and this is my second application. When we know that we have to do it, why do you want to do this type of things in the system? Yes, we have done it. Yes, we can do it again for you if you are in this kind of scenario, but we don't want to do it. We want to avoid this scenario. That's why I'm making these videos again and again. So what you should do, and why you are doing it? Because one, you are not aware that you are not going to get result, you are not going to get approval of PGWP in next 6 months, and by that time spouse visa is going to be expired for your spouse, and you just consider that I will get my PGWP approval maybe in 1-2 months, and then immediately after that I will apply for SOWP extension. So many people are unaware of the timelines. That is one issue. Second, they are worried that they don't have a job and SOWP will be refused. So they are worried about that as well. But let me tell you one more scenario here. If you want to apply for SOWP extension and if you are not working full time, still go ahead and submit the file. Even if you are not working, both of you are not working, still go ahead and submit the file. And you will have 3, 4, 5 months of time. By the time your PGWP application is processed, it is going to take 4, 5, 6 months. By that time, in next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you can get a full-time job. Even if you are getting assistant manager job, it is on tier 0 level, tier 1 level. It is there. I have made a detailed video on that and I'll share the link in the description as well. So get a job on the appropriate job profile on tier 0, 1, 2, 3 and get a job and submit it to IRCC in next 2-3 months through web form. Submit a web form for your job. So you may be not having a job right now, but aren't you going to get a job in next 2, 3, 4, 5 months? By the time your PGWP is getting processed. Is it going to happen? So there is a situation where you can get a full-time job in next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. You have a PG work permit. And as soon as you get a full-time job, which is on tier 0 or 1 level or in 2 or 3 level in the specific job profiles, we have a list. I'll share the list in the description as well. As soon as you get that kind of job, we will submit it to IRCC through web form. So you don't require to have a full-time appropriate level of job right now at the time of application. Don't worry about it. And even if you don't get a job for next 6 months, you are just doing Uber, you are just working part-time, your PGWP is not at risk. The entire risk is of SOWP extension only. That's it. So no need to worry about it. You are not risking your PGWP application. And even at last, we have seen ADRs, additional document requests from visa officer. to understand whether you are doing a full-time job at the time of processing of application of PGWP. After 6 months, visa officer is asking, are you working full-time? Show me the eligibility for SOWP, and then also we can reply. You may get ADR, may not get ADR, but at least you have 4 or 5 months of time until unless your PGWP is getting processed to get a full-time job and submit it to IRCC. You have a lot of time for that. You can do it later on as well. No need to do it immediately at the time of application. No one gets a full-time job as soon as the person completes study. Everyone knows that. So no need to worry about it, and you can submit the job later on as well. Don't worry. So take this chance, submit both the applications together and submit your job proofs later on after submission of your application. And if the student who is applying for PGWP get a new job, we can submit. If you change the job, we can submit. And spouse, if you get a job, then also we can submit it. So in any scenarios, in all the scenarios, it is possible to submit the new updates, new jobs to IRCC through web form. It can be done. It's not a problem. So the bottom line is apply for SOWP extension along with PGWP. Don't worry about rest of the things. Things will fall in place, and even if they are not going to fall in place, you are not losing anything in that. And there is enough possibility for you, there is enough chances for you to get SOWP extension along with PGWP approval. So don't worry about it. There is second scenario, there is one more scenario where spouse is SOWP from outside Canada. Everything remains same if spouse is outside Canada. Only one thing changes, that is funds requirement. So if your funds are not enough, in that case you need to drop the plan. You can't apply for SOWP along with PGWP in that case. If the spouse is outside Canada, it becomes a fresh file. In SOWP extension, funds is not a problem. If you are working full time, that can also compensate for the funds. If you are working full time or part time in Canada, it can compensate for the funds for SOWP extension. But when you are applying for SOWP from outside Canada, spouse upon work permit outside Canada, in that case it is a fresh application and you need to show full funds. How much funds are required in this scenario? The fund requirement is, if you are just husband and wife, no kids, then 26,000 Canadian dollars. If you have one kid, then 32,000 Canadian dollars minimum. How you need to show funds, we can discuss on that part during a counseling session. You can call me for that. And if you have two kids, then it is 39,000 Canadian dollars. If you have three kids, it is going to be 46,000 Canadian dollars. So you require funds. So one requirement which is going to be increased is financial requirement if spouse is outside Canada. If you are meeting the financial requirement, rest of the things remain same. Apply for spouse upon work permit along with PGWP even if spouse is outside Canada. And why you should do it? All the reasons are same. You should take additional chance. So when you can apply for spouse upon work permit? After getting the approval of PGWP. Now you are in April 25. You will lodge your file now and you will get the result in October, possibly October 25. And after getting your PGWP approval, you will lodge the file for SOWP. And let's take a scenario, your spouse visa, if you lodge the file, it is refused. There can be two scenarios. One, it is accepted. One, it is refused. Let's see that it is refused, but you are losing in that. As soon as you get your PGWP approval in October, lodge the file after that. What's the problem in that? At least you are giving one more chance to your spouse to get an acceptance. Even if the chances are just 50%, but there are chances. And even if you don't have a full-time job right now, you can get a full-time job maybe next month, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and you can submit those job proofs to IRCC through web form. And your spouse can become eligible for SOWP. So if you have funds, then and spouse is outside Canada, submit the file for SOWP. Even if funds are new, make a fixed deposit of the funds and lodge the file. Transfer the funds to Canada and lodge the file. At least take this chance, and there are chances of acceptance in that. Otherwise, if you don't lodge the file, then definitely till October your spouse is not getting visa. That is definite. If you lodge the file, your spouse may get visa, may not get visa. If you don't lodge the file, it is definite that till October your spouse is not getting visa. So what's the harm in taking that chance? What's the cost of this chance? Just $255. That's it. This is your loss. So you must take this chance, and if you are eligible to apply for spouse upon work permit, apply for spouse upon work permit rather than applying for visitor visa. So this is my recommendation. Even if your spouse is inside Canada, outside Canada, and you are submitting your PGWP file, along with PGWP file, submit spouse visa file. If spouse is inside, submit SOWP extension. If spouse is outside, submit a fresh file of SOWP. But submit that with PGWP file. And take your chances. Don't worry about the refusals. You can resubmit the file. There can be refusals. There are n number of refusals in Canada. Canada gives random refusals as well. They don't want people to enter in Canada. That is the scenario. But you are already inside Canada, you are completing your study, and now you want to bring your family in Canada, or you want to extend visas of your family who are already inside Canada. So either you need to extend spouse upon work permit, or you need to get the fresh visa of the spouse. So get it done along with PGWP application. Don't delay this particular application, because it can lead to different kind of complexities and issues later on, and there may be a scenario where IRCC may say that even if you are on work permit, you can't apply for spouse visa. So that kind of scenario can also be there in future. And elections are coming, you don't know what is going to happen in future. So take your chances, apply for SOWP, whether it is extension or a fresh file. This is my opinion which I wanted to share, and I just shared it with you. I have made a detailed video on this particular topic. Link is given in description. Must watch it. And even if you are ready with your PGWP file and you are thinking not to apply for spouse, still rethink about it and delay your application for 1-2 days and submit the file along with your spouse. This is my recommendation. If you want to apply with me, you can ping me on my WhatsApp number and I'll be happy to take care of your case. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. See you in next video.